These trains carrying Bakken crude oil from North Dakota are called bomb trains by some railroad employees. They've caused a number of disasters all across North America. Imagine if something like this happened here in the Hudson Valley. So we got a tip from some fishermen that there was some apparent degradation on some railroad bridges up near Storm King where the crude oil trains run. So at the end of July I went up and we have, a little skiff, anchored the Fletcher, launched the skiff and went in to take photos of the foundations essentially of these two bridges. The northern one, I think, was worse. It had some big cracks in the foundation that ran vertically, indicating that part of that foundation supporting the steel beams of the bridge has settled. But on the south side at the northern bridge, what looked like failing concrete, when I went over and grabbed it, was actually like a foam. Here's a picture of another bridge up in Kingston on Rondout Creek. On the day I took these photos, the tide was extremely low, and I was able to see the bottoms of those concrete footings that I normally don't see. And you can see that they are very eroded, very deteriorated. How much of their structural integrity has been lost? How compromised are they?
We're asking the FRA to get an inspector here right away. Second, we're asking that the number of federal bridge inspectors be increased. Guess how many inspectors are assigned to cover the 3,000 private train bridges in New York? 1. And that inspector also has 13 other states to cover.
Just a few years ago, none of this crude oil transport was an issue. And now today it's 2 trains per day on this line, 3 million gallons each. It's about a barge a day down the Hudson at 4 million gallons, and it's a ship a week down the Hudson at 8 million gallons. So a vast amount of Bakken crude oil is moving in the valley. The derailment and spill in Lynchburg, Virginia in April, 30,000 gallons were spilled. None was recovered from the river. In the spill in the Mississippi in February this year, 34,000 gallons were spilled and 95 gallons was recovered. The only way to completely protect the rivers is to not move the product. But until that happens, the only and the best thing that we can do is prevent an accident. And that's why this initiative is so important. What the crude oil transport has done is it's brought to light a lack of regulatory oversight on railroads in general, and too great an autonomy the railroads enjoy. Do truckers get to inspect their own trucks? No. Do oil barge and oil terminal companies get to inspect their barges and tanks themselves? No. The Coast Guard does that. Do commercial aircraft owners get to inspect their own aircraft and sign them off? No. Do you get to inspect your own car? No. But the railroad companies get to inspect their own gear, and they get to decide that they're going to keep tank cars in place that for 2 decades have been found inadequate. We need the same kind of oversight that you have with your personal car, and that we have on our highways with 18-wheelers. We need it with rail transport. We need independent, enforceable oversight immediately. Suspect rail infrastructure, like crumbling bridges, need to be immediately inspected by third-party engineers. Traffic must be rerouted around any compromised structures until repairs are made. Not another study, but rerouting the trains so that they are not on the bridges. Then there's no risk. We need those changes, and we need these inspections in place immediately. There's just too much risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain.